Hi my lovely people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ifeya Artistry. If this is your first time seeing my videos, you are highly welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Okay guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I transform this gorgeous client. Okay, so first of all, I started with cleaning her face with a micellar water, and after that I have to dry it up, like dry up the water from on her face to make sure there's no water remaining. When everything is well dry up and well set, I'm going to go ahead and moisturize our skin. And in today's video, I'm using the Embroylisse moisturizer. The Embroylisse moisturizer have come to be one of the biggest moisturizer in my kit, so I use it mostly for mostly of the clients. It's a very good moisturizer. I can't believe I'm using this moisturizer for almost everybody because it's quite expensive. So I'm using this Embroylisse moisturizer for my client today, and I'm going to be using it to moisturize her skin. It's quite a good one because it's going to hydrate the skin, and it also has this priming features on it. So when you use it to hydrate the skin, it's equally like, you know, it gives the skin that protectiveness that a primer does on the face. Okay, so after blending it into the skin quite well, I'm going to go ahead and prime the face as well. So I'm using the elf primer to prime the face. So I'm going to blend the primer into the skin quite well, and I'm going to make sure to avoid the primer touching the under eyes. Under eyes should not have any priming features on them. You should not have any priming product on them. Okay, so after doing this, I'm going to go ahead and set and lock in everything, like my prepping into the face. Okay guys, so because my client has this light skin, so I'm going to be using this product. Like I just mixed two foundations together. So the Huda Beauty in the shade Toffee, if you know that particular shade. So I mixed the shade with my L'Oreal True Match. I can't remember the shade of the L'Oreal True Match. So I mixed the two of them together to, you know, like get the exact shade. So one thing is I do have a lot of quite number of products, like foundations per se, because like I keep mixing different foundations to get like people's exact shade, and when I mix, I just look for something that is going to be close to their skin tone. So one day I'm going to make a video and teach you guys how to get the exact skin tone or the exact skin match for a client, right? Because I think I do know how to do that quite right. Okay guys, so moving on, after blending the face very well, I go ahead and start applying my concealer. So I'm using the what is it called, the Tarte concealer for this video. So this Tarte concealer is a very bright one. Yeah, I needed something light for the under eyes because I don't want the under eyes to, you know, like for any reason appear as if, you know, it's not highlighted. So after that, I'm using the Nuban Beauty concealer in the shade 042. Yeah, 042. So I'm going to be using that in the outer part. You can even see this 042. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So this 042, it has this, it used to be very light, right? So but it used to be very bright. You guys should not make me talk. I don't know why I keep talking so fast. It's not like my video is too fast, but like my tongue just keep going like without break, and it doesn't. Sometimes I try to control it, but oh my goodness. Okay guys, so moving on, I'm just going ahead to blend the product into the skin quite well. And I'm using my beauty blender. My beauty blender is a damp beauty blender. I'm using that to blend the product into the skin. So after doing that, I just go ahead straight up to add my blush on the face. So I'm just using this my blush cup from Colouredraine. Yeah, that's the brand. So I'm just added this blush, and you see how amazing this blush looks on the face of my client. Okay, so after doing that, I wanted to just go ahead and, you know, like blend the product on the face, like sorry, the concealer that is left under the face, under their eyes and all that. But one mind told me to do a cream contour. You know, sometimes I do cream contour, sometimes I don't. But in this video, I wanted to go ahead and just, you know, continue with the makeup. But my one spirit told me to go and do cream contour. No matter how I mean, if I skip it, I could have still done it in the, you know, towards the ending of the makeup. I will still do it with a powder, but I just decided to just, you know, like, why not just let me just come and do it. But I'm not doing it too much. It's just going to be like a little. I just want to add that illusion there. Yeah, sometimes I don't do cream contour if I know that, oh yeah, this person's face doesn't really need me demarcating or, you know, trying to create the too much of structure in them. I'm going to get it when I'm doing the powder. So after doing that, I've just gotten what I wanted. I'm doing that basically because of the nose. The nose, I needed to create that, you know, structure for the nose. So after doing that, I just come back and, you know, like set the blender under eyes as well to make sure that I, you know, I've gotten what I wanted. So after doing this, I'm going to be setting the under eyes. In today's video, I'm using the RCMA setting powder. If you guys remember, that setting powder is one of the sweetest setting powder that I use for a very light skin client. So I use that, and it doesn't disappoint me. It doesn't disappoint. It just leaves the under eyes quite bright. You know, whenever I see a very light skinned, I just want to use that RCMA because the powder sets the under eyes quite well, and it makes sure that everything is just intact. So I'm using the product to set the under eyes, and you know, just setting and setting. I'm going to use it to set the rest of the highlighted areas. And you know one thing with this setting powder, I not only use it to set the highlighted areas, I equally use it to set almost all the face in some of my videos though. And you know one thing, it just looks good and it feels nice and right on a light skin. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to be setting the rest of the face. I'm just doing the same process in every other part of the face that I highlighted. For now, I've not gone ahead to set any other place. I'm just setting the highlighted areas in the face. So if I succeeded in moving to other part of the face, I'm going to definitely let you know. Okay guys, so moving on, I'm just setting, I'm you know, trying to lock in. You know, I love it when I push in products into the face to, you know, help me with the setting. Okay, now you can see I'm still using the product to, you know, like set the low light. So yeah, this is one of the things I said I do. I use it to set the low lights or any other place I feel like I still need to set. Yeah, you know, you can do that with any other setting powder anyway, but I mostly do that with this RCMA. When I'm using it, I use it to set the rest of the face. So what I just did, and I got like a normal powder, like in a compact powder or a powder palette. I don't know the one I used, but I picked up a normal powder to push in this setting powder. Because this setting powder is translucent, sometimes the powder is just, you know, fluffs out. So I do use normal powder. I get it with my, you know, with my powder puff, and I push it into the skin, into the under eyes, to just help me with the setting. You know, it just helps to push this powder into the skin basically. So when I'm done with the setting of the low light and everything, I just go ahead to set the contour. So I'm using a dark shade of my powder. You just like the powder is not even that dark. You see, that was what I meant by I could still use the powder contour to create the contour. I don't basically need to use the cream contour to do it. You see, the cream contour I didn't even do much with it, but the powder contour already did the job. So sometimes I just save time, you know, I just save time with it. I don't really, if I know that I'm going to create what I want to create with powder contour, I just go ahead, you know. So I'm using the powder contour to just, you know, like run through everything I'm doing, the nose contour, the forehead contour, and everything. So afterwards, I just go ahead to add the blush. But honestly, in this video, I don't know the blush I'm using. I don't really know I think I'm using this blush from Juvia's Place that I've been using since ages ago. I don't know, I guess that's what I'm using. So after everything, I use my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray to set and lock in everything, you know. So as I'm locking it in, I'm just, you know, after locking it in, I just use my fan to dry it up. And then we move over to the brows, you know. So for the brows, I already tamed down the brows. I did it off camera, and then at this point I'm just outlining the brows, you know. So sometimes when I edit my videos of the brows, it becomes so easy and so simple after the editing. Sometimes doing these brows, they are not that easy as the people see it in camera, like, though, because I think that's one of the things when people that is learning makeup or beginners, they watch the videos of makeup artists that do YouTube, or people that is already a pro, and you see how soft and easy these videos go. Like, if you know the speed I put the outline, the drawing of these brows, like using quite a speed, because I was very slow. I used to be very slow in drawing brows. So but whenever I'm making the videos, whenever I'm editing, I make sure that they go in high speed so that they don't bore you, because if I don't speed them up, you're going to definitely be bored at the end of the day. Okay guys, so moving on, I'm just going to move on. I'm just using my Davis pencil in the shade 003 to fill in the brows, or fill out the brows, anyone. So I'm filling it in, and I'm going to I'm just shading to cover the space on the eyebrows. Okay guys, so after doing that, I'm going to use my brush to brush it out so that I get the feathery looking brows. I always love it when my brows are looking very natural, when it's looking natural and feathery. I don't like the well shaded look. Okay guys, so after doing everything I'm supposed to do, I go ahead to conceal the brows. I'm using the concealer that I use under the eyes. I mostly say that is the concealer I use under the eyes. I'm using that to set. I'm using that to conceal the eyebrows. Sorry, don't mind me. So guys, doing that now, I'm going to be concealing the under eyes. I don't think I did conceal the upper part of the brows, but the under eyes I did conceal, and I'm going to be doing that. So after concealing that, I'm going to get my brush and blend it out to make sure everything is well intact. So blending out the concealer under the eyes quite well, and after doing that, I'm equally going to go ahead and set it with powder. Yeah, so once I'm done setting it with powder, the next thing I'm going to do is to create the eyeshadow, which is going to be the next thing now. Okay guys, so I'm going to be using the the eyeshadow primer. Oh no, I don't know why I really can't remember the name of this eyeshadow, but this is something I use every day. Sometimes the name just comes to my head and sometimes I just forget it. So I'm going to be using this eyeshadow primer. It's just an eyeshadow primer basically. Shit. I don't want to say this word. I can't remember, please. So I'm using the eyeshadow primer. Most times I just remember it. It's just something I use all the time. Okay, so I'm after adding the eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to be creating my transition. So I'm using my palette from this brand, from Colouredraine. I'm using the palette from Colouredraine. There's this palette I always show you guys all the time from Colouredraine. So I use that palette to create my transition. So I'm creating transition, and with just dark. This is not really just dark brown. I'm just creating this transition with, I don't even know if it's just brown, because sometimes on a light skin, this brown's color, like they look a little bit different. But let's just go ahead, because I didn't want any eyeshadow that I don't want anything. I just want something simple and something quite small. Like I don't want the color to be too much. I just want something that is very mild. All right, so I just added this eyeshadow, and it's just a very little something. I don't want something that is going to be too much, and I probably wanted to add a little bit of pigment on the eyes, and that is it. And these pigments that I add in the eyes, they mostly don't even need any what is it called, they mostly don't need any pigment glue. Okay guys, so because I don't even know, can you imagine that I added this powders under the eyes when I'm already done doing eyeshadow? That is really laughable. But I understand the reason why I added it at this point, because I feel like I added the glue, the pigment. This pigment, they don't fall out, but it's possible for them to start falling out when I'm drawing the liner, because at that point I might be scraping it off. The ones that is within the line I'm going to be drawing this liner from, so they might start falling out and they'll fall under the eyes. So I understand the reason why I added the setting powder at this point, because he needed to protect the eyes, the under eyes, so that I wouldn't have to start dragging to dust it out and everything. So after everything, I'm just lining the eyes basically, which is very important at this point. And after that, I equally line the under eyes as well. And while I'm doing this, I make sure that my client does not tear up. I make sure I protect their eyes, in as much as like looking at this right now is feeling somehow to me. So I make sure I protect their eyes, they don't tear up and everything. Okay guys, so moving on, don't mind me yawning. Moving on, I'm just lining the eyes like I said, and doing everything I could to make sure to protect the eyes from tearing up, So when I'm done with lining the eyes, I fix the lashes off camera, because I think too much of the running around with the eyes was already getting a little bit too much, so I needed to concentrate and do it quite well. So I might have to cover the camera at that point, so I have to put a pause on the camera and come in front of the client and then do that process. So after doing that, I have to go ahead and equally dust out the setting powder under the eyes. I didn't want the setting powder to equally remain there for a while, so I just have to go ahead and dust it out, and then I go ahead and set the rest of the face. You can look at this makeup at this point, you know that is looking amazing. After dusting everything out, I use my milk setting spray to lock everything in. So I'm going to be locking it in, and you can look at this makeup at this point, you know that it's looking beautiful. So I use my beauty blender to equally push it into the skin to make sure that everything is okay, and equally I use my cream highlight, yeah, from Cosmetics. I added that a little bit on the face as well, on the highest point of the cheeks, to just give me the glow, the, you know, the liquid glow, because I don't want to add powder glow on her face. Okay guys, so moving on, I'm going to be using this lip stain. I'm going to be using this lip liner to line her lips. So this is one of my favorite lip liner for a light skin. If I want to do a nude shade lip stain, if I want to create a nude shade lips, so I use this lip liner. I'm going to be using this lip liner for my client because we wanted like something very nude. We don't want anything that is too harsh. Okay, so after everything, I just, like, this is me dusting out the lips, like blending it out to make sure, like, I want to know what I'm working with before I go ahead to, like, start applying my lip stains. I want to see the shape, I want to see where it stopped and everything. So I'm just adding the colors I know I want to work with, and they are lip stains actually, so I had to dry it down, because when you dry them down, they give you more coverage. So I'm going to be doing that as well, like blending out, and I'm trying to equally get like a lighter shade. So I'm picking up like concealers at the back of my hand, like the remaining concealer that I use, I think, on her brows. So I'm using that, adding it in the inner part of the lips to give me like a brighter shade. So this is me trying to brighten the lips up, the lip stain up, and then trying to get a perfect and making everything look perfect. Okay guys, so when I'm done doing that, I just go ahead to add my gloss, to add the gloss on the lips. One thing, I just begin to love this type of lip stain. It's like they just make sense. Like, it's not too much, it's not too shouty, it's not dull, it's not, like, it just makes sense. So after everything, I go ahead and add my soap pro setting spray, and that is it guys. Like, everything is looking intact, my client is looking amazing, and the makeup is looking flourishing, and everything is looking nice. Like, this is just the makeup. Like, can you see how neat this makeup looks? Like, this makeup looks lovely. And my client, I gave her the mirror, she looked at her face, and she looks amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.